Manager wanted everything I do during a workday written down. Request granted. Long time lurker, first time poster. English not my native language, mobile blah blah some context. Working in an outsourcing company. Before I joined job there were 2 people doing my job, both left before I joined. I was alone doing the job of 2 people. Weekly reports being sent to client head and client would visit job site once a year. So here goes. As a means of control and reporting there a general mailbox to where client should send all requests that needed to be addressed. Had to deal with 30 to 40 different people from the client side plus client head. They didn't give a shit about said mailbox, would always email my inbox ignoring said general one almost always. Since I was alone doing the work of 2 people, I was almost always behind on the workload and would get the idiots on the other side constantly complaining to the client head, who in turn would complain to my managers. How is it possible that OP can't deal with 7 or 8 daily emails and be behind on his work? Weekly report stated I was only getting 7/8 emails from the client a day, completely ignoring the duck and phone, personal inbox, Skype chat, which were the ways people were contacting me every day. So, client head complains to managers and escalates me for being a lazy idiot that can't even handle a handful of emails a day. Managers set up meeting to grill me. OP, you always look so busy and you're only getting a handful of emails a day and constantly behind on your work. How is this possible? Client isn't happy and you either improve dramatically or client wants us to replace you. I explained that general mailbox wasn't the only thing I did, mentioning all other means through which client idiots were requesting things. So, solution to show client head what was being done, I was told I needed to register on an Excel sheet everything I did during the day. I asked for clarification. You mean emails and calls, right? No everything. And email the Excel at the end of workday. So here goes my malicious compliance. I did exactly what I was told, wrote down everything I did during the workday, even including bathroom, smoke, and coffee breaks. Client writes on Skype, I write down timestamp when client asks for something and timestamp of each and every reply, all adding to an Excel at around 500 lines every day, with my personal favorite of adding a line at the end. Time wasted to fill in sheet, 1 hour. One manager laughs when he sees my full compliance, other one not so much but knows can't do shit because I did what I was told. A few months later when client head visits tells me he duckin' loved it. Was told to stop doing it on the 3rd day. They were now aware of what I did during the day. Now to the comments. I did something similar recently. I was leaving a job and the boss wanted me to draft a how-to document for my job duties. It ended up being a 40 or so page document titled The Book of Secrets. When I left one of my jobs, I was the only one who knew what repairs I had done to lab equipment and what quirks existed in the system. I made a whole troubleshooting guide for the thing that covered every problem I had ever encountered and the eventual resolution to those problems. It's a double-edged sword. It might be a tool to use to assist in training future employees, or it could be used to train your replacement. I went on a job interview where they wanted me to be trained by the person I would be replacing. After finishing training, I was to fire him. Noped out of that job opportunity quick as I realized this was their modus operandi to keep from paying retirements. Great. Only solution to such silly requests. For me it was only requests routed correctly get completed. This. I would just pretend I didn't see the others. LMAO, I can imagine the Excel sheet filled with bathroom breaks with specific details. 5 p.m., went to the bathroom, took a massive shit, used 3 wipes, left stall smelling nice for next occupant. OP replied. Didn't go into that much detail about my bathroom breaks, but went completely overboard with other activities. Email received and read. Not replied. Spam. Email received, Google Translate, no reply. Not meant for me. Call, wrong number. Call, right number, wrong person. Had a lot of fun writing that thing. Without knowing more context, it doesn't necessarily read like your managers were being the dicks. If the client was the one witching, it's a pretty common tactic to get your subordinates to document time spent on as much work-related stuff as possible so you can protect them from accusations of being somehow lazy or unnecessary, or from overwork. I've done that for people working for me. Setting up a mandatory ticketing system is one way of doing that, especially if you link it to a mailbox where you can also forward requests to your personal email. Might be worth a quiet chat with your guys about what their intentions are. LOL, I feel like this is a fairly common thing I see on this sub. It's crazy to me that people in charge still think this is a good idea. 11:56. Wrote this sentence logging my time. 11:57. Wrote this sentence logging my time. 11:58. Wrote this sentence logging my time. Can't imagine why nothing got done, boss. What? And here. I like this, but I have to say your time filling in the spreadsheet wasn't wasted. They really didn't know what your workload was. Once they did understand, they asked you to stop filling in the spreadsheet. The statement time wasted to fill in sheet 1 hour is a brilliant one. It showed them you were telling the truth. Excellent work, well done. OP replied. They clearly knew, as they had 2 people before me doing the job. Problem was both left and position was empty for 3 months before I took over. Backlog was spectacular. The amount of shit they were taking from the client every week was just hilarious. Even better for me as no one else spoke the language. 2 raises in the first 6 months. As someone who does consulting, it's just a part of the job. 25% of billable hours are just doing things to justify our value to the client. From a technical perspective, it is completely wasted time. From the customer perspective, they need to feel like they are getting their money's worth. My boss is obsessed with me making a checklist for end-of-year things, even though what I do has nothing to do with what she does. It gives me more work. A few years ago, when I was asked to do this for the first time, she asked if it was helpful. I told her I am sure it was helpful for her. So, this year she asks for checklist again, and I wrote every tiny step. I also wrote very detailed onboarding lists. End of year is at same time as beginning of year in graduate medical education. I asked if she reviewed my list. Nope. It's so long. Next year I'm telling her I'm not making another checklist. I know my job. This makes me chuckle, because one of my prior help desk departments, which operated on cost recovery, operated like this. We all tracked our time to at least the 5-minute interval, if not more fine-grained than that. We spent a half hour a day inputting all our tracked time into a billing system. Things like official legal break time were billed internally to our own department as a cost of operating/having employees, and the rest was either lost money, e.g., when we had a departmental meeting, or needed to clean up our cubicles after a project ended, etc., or else it got billed to a client with explanation of what that work entry was for. So, yes, I documented that I spent 3 minutes making coffee, 1 minute opening access and logging that time, 5 minutes peeing, 4 minutes answering a user's question because they found me in the hall leaving the restroom, 2 minutes pouring a coffee and saying good morning to my office mate, 2 more minutes entering time, and 1 minute logging into email/etc. to begin the day. Our billing system's minimum time increment was 6 minutes, so sometimes if you were studious about logging and entering time honestly and accurately, you could actually recuperate some of your lost hours during the day by adding up 1 bonus minute here, 1 there, in doing so saving your billing percentage rate for the week. We had to hit about a 65% billable ratio for break-even on our own position/benefits, to keep the department from turning into a net loss. P.S. This client? 5 minutes peeing, 4 minutes answering a user's question because they found me in the hall leaving the restroom. Yup, they got billed for 6 minutes. They shouldn't have asked a help desk question, otherwise it would have been my time costing me money. That sounds like a job I'd nope out of within 10 minutes. I actually enjoyed it. It was all internal cost recovery. It's not like we were a for-hire business with outside clients or anything. I had good rapport with a few different departments that I got to split time between supporting, but I was never in the thick of it when it came to the people drama in each of their areas. I got to go back to my cozy hidey hole to enter my time when I was done helping them.